This lavender hasn't been watered in 3 weeks, and it's thriving. No wilting, no brown leaves, just full purple blooms. If you've ever bought lavender, babied it, and watched it die anyway, I need you to know something. It wasn't your fault. You were probably doing the one thing that kills lavender faster than neglect ever could. Today, I'm giving you 5 secrets that make lavender almost impossible to kill, even if you forget it exists for weeks at a time. Hey, welcome back to the Garden Sage, the channel where we make gardening actually doable, even if you're busy, forgetful, or convinced you have a black thumb. If you've tried growing lavender before and it turned brown, got leggy, or just quietly disappeared on you, you are not alone. It happens to almost everyone. Lavender has this reputation for being easy, but ironically, that reputation is exactly why so many people kill it. They assume it needs the same care as every other plant, and it really doesn't. Here's the good news. Once you know these 5 secrets, lavender becomes one of the most low-maintenance, forgiving plants you can grow. We're talking survives your vacation, forgets to water for weeks, still blooms, anyway kind of forgiving. So if you want a plant that basically thrives on neglect, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to grow lavender that refuses to die. Let's get into it. If this helped, hit subscribe here on the Garden Sage. I post new no-fail gardening tips every week. Drop a comment and tell me which mistake you were making, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's start with the biggest lavender killer, overwatering. It sounds backwards, but more lavender plants die from too much water than from not enough. Here's why. Lavender originally comes from the Mediterranean, rocky hillsides, dry summers, minimal rainfall. Its roots evolved to handle drought, not soggy soil. When you water it every day like a typical houseplant, the roots sit in moisture they can't process, and that leads to root rot. Once root rot sets in, it's very hard to reverse. So what should you actually do? Water deeply but infrequently. Once your lavender is established, usually after the first few months, it often only needs watering every 1 to 2 weeks, and even less during cooler months. The easiest way to know when it's time? Use the finger test. Stick your finger about 2 inches into the soil. If it's still damp, wait. If it's completely dry, go ahead and water it thoroughly until it drains out the bottom. This one change, watering less but more deeply, solves the majority of lavender problems before they even start. It's not about neglecting the plant. It's about giving it the dry conditions it's actually built for. Get this right, and you've already avoided the mistake that kills more lavender than anything else. Secret 2 happens before the plant even goes in the ground, soil. Lavender is extremely sensitive to wet feet, meaning water that pools around its roots instead of draining away. Even if you water correctly, the wrong soil can still trap moisture and undo all your hard work. The fix is simple. Mix your potting soil with something that improves drainage. Sand, perlite, or fine gravel all work well. A good general ratio is about 2/3 soil to 1/3 drainage material. This mimics the loose, rocky ground lavender naturally grows in. If you're planting directly in your yard and you have heavy clay soil, don't fight it, work with it. Plant lavender in a raised bed or mound the soil upward a few inches. This small elevation helps excess water drain away from the roots instead of collecting around them. And if you're growing lavender in a pot, this next part is non-negotiable. Make sure the pot has drainage holes. Without them, water has nowhere to go, and root rot becomes almost guaranteed, no matter how careful you are otherwise. Good drainage isn't a small detail. It's the foundation everything else depends on. Nail the soil, and you've built an environment where lavender can actually do what it does best: survive with very little help from you. Secret 3 is all about light, and lavender is genuinely sun-hungry. For strong, healthy growth, lavender needs at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day. Anything less, and the plant starts to struggle. Not always in obvious ways at first, but over time you'll notice weaker stems, fewer blooms, and a leggy, stretched-out shape as it reaches for more light. This is actually one of the most overlooked reasons lavender fails. People often blame watering when the real issue is a shady patio, a partially covered balcony, or a spot that only gets a few hours of morning sun. If you're growing lavender outdoors, look for the sunniest spot in your yard, ideally south-facing if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're growing it indoors, place it in your brightest window, and understand that indoor lavender is generally more challenging simply because most homes can't match outdoor sun intensity. A helpful way to think about it: if a spot feels almost too hot, too bright, or too exposed for other plants, that's often exactly where lavender is happiest. Pairing full sun with the well-draining soil from Secret 2 recreates the natural Mediterranean conditions. Lavender is adapted to dry, bright, and warm. Get the light right, and you'll notice fuller growth and more of those fragrant purple blooms you're growing it for in the first place. Secret 4 is the step most people skip entirely: pruning. Left alone, lavender naturally becomes woody over time, thick, bare stems with green growth only at the very tips. Eventually, a plant that's never pruned can become sparse, stop flowering well, and decline. Pruning isn't optional maintenance. It's what keeps the plant productive for years instead of just 1 or 2 seasons. Here's a simple routine: prune twice a year. The first time is right after the initial bloom, usually in early summer. Trim back about 1/3 of the plant to encourage a second flush of growth. The second time is in early spring, where you'll remove any dead, damaged, or overly woody stems to make room for fresh shoots. One important rule: only cut into the green, flexible growth, never cut deep into the old, brown, woody stems. Lavender doesn't regenerate well from old wood, so cutting too far back can seriously damage the plant instead of helping it. It might feel aggressive the first time you do it, especially with shears in hand and a healthy-looking plant in front of you. But this is exactly what keeps lavender compact, full, and blooming consistently, rather than turning into a bare, straggly shrub after a couple of years. Think of pruning as resetting the plant, giving it a reason to keep producing new, healthy growth season after season. Most plants appreciate rich soil and regular fertilizer. Lavender is the exception. In the wild, it grows in poor, rocky, nutrient-thin ground, and it's specifically adapted to that environment. Give it rich compost or frequent fertilizer, and instead of thriving, it often responds with weak, floppy growth and noticeably fewer blooms. This trips people up because it goes against typical plant care instincts. More nutrients usually means a healthier plant, but with lavender, less is genuinely more. If you want to feed it at all, keep it minimal. A light application of a slow-release, low-nitrogen fertilizer once a year in early spring is plenty. For most home gardens, even that isn't necessary, especially if your soil already drains well and gets plenty of sun. This ties directly back to everything else we've covered. Lean soil, minimal water, and no heavy feeding all recreate the same thing: the dry, low-nutrient Mediterranean conditions lavender evolved in. When you stop trying to help it the way you would other plants, it settles into exactly the environment it wants. So if your instinct is to feed it more when it looks a little stressed, resist that urge. With lavender, doing less isn't neglect. It's often exactly what the plant needs to keep coming back, season after season. So let's quickly recap the 5 secrets. Water deeply, but only when the soil is truly dry. Use fast-draining soil with sand or perlite mixed in. Give it as much direct sun as you possibly can. Prune it twice a year to keep it full and productive. And resist the urge to fertilize it. Lavender genuinely prefers to be left alone. None of these secrets are complicated, but together, they completely change how lavender behaves. Instead of a plant you're constantly worrying about, you get one that handles dry spells, busy weeks, and the occasional forgotten watering, all on its own. If this video helped you, it would mean a lot if you hit subscribe here on The Garden Sage. I post new, no-fuss gardening tips like this every week, all about growing plants that actually fit into a busy, real-life schedule. And I genuinely love to know. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 5 you weren't doing before. My guess is it's the watering one. It almost always is. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.